All right, guys. The highlight of today is being wrong, being wrong, being wrong, and then being right. Whether it's a losing trade, losing trade, losing trade, winning trade, or just a thought. And the thing about trading is there's oftentimes you have to be the employee and the employer. You have to be the boss. You have to be the coach. You have to be a few different things. And so, when you walk through the whole process in your process, you have to know, am I making a decision based on emotion, based on something else I did or did not do prior? Or am I making the decision based on what I am seeing in the process that I'm trying to implement? So after we open today in the S&Ps, we get this really sideways chop that generally, here's the other thing, you have to know yourself better than others. If you don't know yourself, you're not going to be a good person because you're not going to know your weakness and you're going to play towards your weakness and not realize it. You have to know your weaknesses and not just try to turn your weaknesses into strengths. That might be too hard, but play away from them. Know your strengths, play towards them. If you don't know your weaknesses, you might tend to play towards them. I know my weakness is when a market does this for too long in the time of day it shouldn't. There shouldn't be long consolidation chop when we open up and we're in a gap open kind of scenario, or we're strong and volatility isn't great but it isn't slow, and you do this for the first half hour. This is the first 15 minutes from like here, from the open, first 15 minutes, and it can't get out above like 31 even, or below 24. Now 24 also was a VWAP, and a VWAP, volume weighted average price, I think has always been a good target and tells you a little bit of the story that um, you could test it, and after you test it so many times, you're going to fly through it. Well, the weakness I have is once I see this, my eyes get bigger and I'm looking for a breakout to go up. I'm looking for a breakout to go down. I'm looking for a breakout to go up. After it breaks, I'm looking to sell it. After it rallies, I'm looking to buy it. That's my weakness. And I have to check myself not to know when my eyes are bigger than my stomach. So you don't put as much food on the plate. It's one thing to think it might rally and it might break and it might break. It's another thing to keep putting on trades. That's when you tend to get chopped up. That's when I would tend to get chopped up, where you're long in a bad location looking for a rally, you're short looking for a break in here, and it's like you're a bull and a bear in the same 2 minutes, and your locations are bad, and you're chopped up. If your locations are good in a consolidation, you generally don't have anything to show for it. If they're bad, you're getting chopped up, and it really could create a giant hole in your account that day. And so being wrong and taking a loser doesn't have to be the same thing. Sometimes they feel the same way when you're especially when you're hosting a room and you're telling people I think it could go down and here's why, and then but I'm not wrong, as it rallies up to there. And but that's where I thought we could go through. I think it was, and I want to walk through this. Oh shoot, what did I do? I want to go through this one bar at a time. I thought that there was a good chance to break through 24 right in here. Take a look at the right side of the screen. 24 had all these rotational lows in here, and it had a VWAP, which you don't see on this chart, but you kind of had a VWAP that was looking like that. And it's like, well, listen, these guys see that it works. They see that it works. They see that it works. They're all going to buy it, and they're going to they're going to get it jammed down their throat. Well, guess what? They didn't. I take a small loser and then see that and tell people before this happens, before that pop, you can't be short, or you got to be careful getting short, or not getting short, but staying short, staying bearish, because the middle, I'll put a line there and a line there. The middle of it is not arbitrary. It's a head fake. It looks like it's going down. It goes down a little bit and bam, comes right back up. Gets everybody short who don't know how to get out of losers or doesn't stick to any discipline chasing it. It gets long sometimes to puke. Less longs, less sellers, less sellers. It's easier to go up. It's easier to go up because there's less sellers. And if people get stuck short, like I was, you become part of the reason why it looks like a head fake. If you watch my channel enough, you should know what that word is and what that pattern looks like. So the move from 27 to 30 and above 32 was predictable. So being wrong doesn't mean you put your damn head down and pout. There's wrong business for you. Always got to keep your chin up, because you've got to throw another punch. You got another at bat, right? And a lot of people put their head down because they're so worried about being wrong. There's another thing that'll help you about dealing with being wrong. First of all, the best way to deal with dealing with being wrong is grow up. The second one is realize that oftentimes you're not wrong. It just didn't go in the basket. Sometimes, like, the market would have went down more had it like traded two more prices lower, right? Or right in here, if it would have traded two more prices lower, it would have went down another 2 or 3, 4 handles. The market doesn't know every step it's going to take every minute before it takes it. It's all of these buyers, sellers, longs, and shorts thinking of doing something, worrying it. And one or two more ticks sometimes could often fire off a lot of sell orders that make it work. So you were close. The analogy is, you got the open shot in basketball, you took it, just didn't go in. It's close to going in, but didn't go in. But you were supposed to take the shot. Work on the shots you take that you shouldn't take. You're covered. You're outside your sweet spot. Got a hand in your face, and you're forcing shots. Coach will pull you out of the game, but you're your own coach, remember. So you ain't going to pull yourself out of the game. No open shots that you're supposed to take, and then know if you're taking them or not. But don't put yourself in a position where you're forcing shots, forcing trades, because you missed a couple open shots. You get an open shot, work the ball around. Don't worry about being wrong. Worry about when other people are wrong.